I just needed to go real bad, and I didn't want to leave you in charge while I walked out. Thank you, thank you. I'll call the meeting back to order. Moving on to our regular items, we'll start with item number 1, discussion and possible action on adoption of Resolution 2024-40, a resolution adopting the Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan, ICIP, for fiscal year 2026 to 2030.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, members of the council, this is the annual resolution that we submit to the Department of Finance and Administration. We were given an extension on this. It's due this week. We have to get the resolution to them. And we did list of projects and just wanted to have input on the council and see what I believe we do like the top 10 is what we do from council. If anyone wants to review this, I know you've been reviewing the project list and staff will work with you on it, so.
Does the council have any questions on items 1 through 10 and their prioritization?
Okay, not. I'll make a motion.
Hold on just a second, because I wanted to ask Matt something. I saw, I think in 29.
And Mayor Pro Tem Salas, this is to Councilor Lutterman also, is going back into the one about the park signage. That also included wayfinding when you go into the actual
okay.
project. So I added that to the title because it was in there, so.
Okay.
I'm trying to look it up, Matt, but I saw the pump track and the skate park at $50 million. Does it really cost that much?
So it depends on the quality you get. Yes, they can. And so that would be a quality to hold like national competitions. And so, and then part of it also is those are, we have to have those in for grants. And some of those are, then that's design build. It could possibly cost that much for a full pump track and skate park.
Wow, I was just blown away on that, because then you got your recreation center at 20 million, and
Which-
I
I
thought
figured that would be.
that
free.
would be
So,
opposite.
so that would probably, next year we'll probably be upping the rec center prices because prices are just,
Okay.
5 years ago I built the rec center in, Lovington, which is similar to what we would be looking at. And it was 20 million for that center.
For that right there.
However, since COVID, post-COVID and a lot of other things, I'm expecting that price tag to go to 30 to 40, at least for a similar center.
But underscoring what Ron brought up, our top 10 items are the ones that are most practical
Yes.
to be acted on, and they're all infrastructure related.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Corey, that's correct. At times when we do have like the quality of life, which is more of a Parks and Rec grant, we go through our list and it's on there as long as it's on the ICIP, and then we can apply for funding sources, so.
Yeah, that's exactly the quality of life grant that we received for Schoolhouse Park. The $1 million we received had to be on ICIP. So you actually see the renovation of Schoolhouse Park on ICIP, but that was actually funded with a grant this year. And so after that project's done, it will be taken off most likely next year.
And that grant was specific to quality of life.
Yes, quality
So
of
it's-
life.
It's not like we could use it to fill potholes.
No, it can only go to Parks and Recreation Infrastructure.
And it's good that we got those 500,000, 570,000 and stuff, because sometimes the representative or senator has pocket change where they could do those smaller projects
Yeah.
that were able to go in there. And so, but thank you, Matt. I was just taken away when I saw that. I'll entertain the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve adoption of Resolution 2024-40, a resolution adopting the Infrastructure Capital Improvement Plan, ICIP, for fiscal years 2026 to 2030.
Second.
I'll second it. Or did you?
I did.
Thank you.
You forget,
I
I get to
know.
make a motion in
You're good.
both, so it's like,
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay, Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
I,
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Thank you.
Item number 2, discussion on review of Village of Ruidoso Code of Ordinance, Chapter 86, Section 31K, adjustment to water charges.
I'm not sure how we're supposed to start the discussion or how you want to do
Start
it.
it?
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, members of the council, we'll start with council, and then we have staff here, and we also have legal counsel here for any questions and regarding this item.
So yes, go ahead
Thank
and
you.
start.
Thank you. It has nothing to do with the water bills, or our utility bill, not the water bill, the utility bills. Just looking back and listening to our residents and remembering, you brought up, we'll never forget 9/11. Well, there won't be many of us that will forget June 17th, 2024, because every one of us know where we were and what we were doing and how we were doing it. Listening to the people, because I can remember at 7 that night when Ron said, everybody has to evacuate, me jumping in the car, telling Tom, I'm coming home, and getting to my road and the smoke, and I don't care where you lived, it was right on top of us. And I ran in the house, and the last thing I did when Tom was saying, come on, come on, come on, is I went into the bathroom. And I didn't sit there and wait for the bathroom to quit.
The flapper.
Thank you. And, with everything with us evacuating, and I realized that not everyone evacuated, but it was a mandate. You told me to get out. And you told everybody in this village to get out. Now, some of them didn't, but I think from that time that we evacuated on Monday night until we got home on Monday, I believe that we need to look at this, and I believe that we need to readjust and not charge those people $1,000, $2,500, $3,000. They got out like we told them to. And I was just lucky my flapper quit flapping. And so I realized that this is not for people that went and turned, before they left, turned on their sprinkler to save their home. They did that knowing that their water was running. But most of these people did not know what was going on because we had no internet, we had no phone service, and I just hate to I hate messing with our residents that way. I think they deserve better. And I believe that we need to give them a water bill, but say, bless them for that week.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes, sir.
I wholeheartedly agree with Counselor Letterman. June 17th was an extraordinary time. The evacuation went extraordinarily well. No injuries getting out of town. But like Counselor Letterman, I was away from my home for a week. Could not access the doorbell camera, no internet. Those citizens that had legitimate leaks could not address it remotely. And even if they could call someone, there weren't plumbers here, so I think the village should be willing to work with some of these individuals, such as Dick Bobinger.
We won't mention names.
Well, it was he brought it up during public hearing, so.
Right.
it's
Oh,
public
okay,
knowledge.
that gentleman.
But I think we need to work with our citizens. It was a 1-week period. I don't think, there's not hundreds of thousands of dollars we're talking about. And it's working with our citizens.
Okay. Counselor Eby, you have any comment?
Yes, I do. I believe that we do need to look at this in a sense of looking at, is somebody a victim of, in a sense that, yes, they had high water usage, but I do believe that we need to be prudent. And when we look at this, just I was talking with Adam, that as the ordinance, as typically the way he looks at it is that he gets a plumber's bill. We don't know what the plumber fixed. Do you look at what the plumber fixed? What was the cause of it? We're looking at to just say ease the burden on the water billing due to the fire and flood. Now, was it the fire that caused that leak? Was it, and I'm not talking about somebody that left their water on for the sprinkler system, or was it, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, was it because of, and I would believe that they couldn't get to the leak because of the fire, because they were evacuated, then yes, we need to take that into consideration. But I do believe that we need to look at it and have some leniency there. But I do believe that we need to be prudent and look at the cause of the time frame. Just as I spoke with Adam of that, you all could go back and look at the Ion Water for that individual account and see, and you could probably get a good guesstimation on, does it coincide with the fire, the flood, did that cause it, and so on. But I do believe we need to look at it and make the allowances where we feel that, yes, it is prudent to do that, but we also need to watch for the village's side and do our due diligence in allowing any of those type of credits.
Is that all you have?
Thanks, Adam, for doing a great job, and you gals too.
Counselor Hooker, any comment, statement? No?
No, sir.
Okay. I did ask to add the ordinance because I remember this ordinance and section came up during the freeze in 2011. And that was the same situation because in that case, it was a lot of second home owners
Right.
that were
weren't
away,
here.
that weren't here. And yet, we didn't know, and that's what instituted having to install the cutoff valve on the homeowner side of the meter, which to this day, there's still homes without that, and they're finding out when they do have a leak, and they call the village, hey, come and shut off our water, you're supposed to have one, so they do shut it off, get a reconnect, all the process reconnecting, but then at that time too, they're told they have to have their own cutoff. And it's spelled out very well here as far as, and I am sympathetic to people that weren't here, like you said. I knew I wasn't leaving, I just went across town when it all broke out. So, and just watched, I was ready, but yet it's like, wait a minute, no, we can hang out here. Anyway, that's beside the point. But yet, again, you're right, everyone was rushing, the panic was on. Who knows if I did happen to leave the hot tub, filling the hot tub water up, when I left, and just, I'm panicking and leaving. So, again, as we were in discussion, I really want to ask you all to look at this, and yes, we can make changes to it. We can bring our thoughts together and look at this, ordinance and saying, what else can we do here? As you said, looking at a grace period for, the victims that were away and had leaks.
I thought that it's not necessarily the ordinance. I thought that we could do an executive order because of the disaster.
Well, that's the mayor's call, and it's solely his call. So we could ask him and go on with that and see what he would prefer on this. But again, that's where it says right there on item 4 of K, if a customer and the village manager or his designee are unable to agree on adjustment under this subsection, the matter may be appealed to the village council. And that's where the resident could come to us.
And they have.
Then we could take action. Okay, yeah, charge them half their bill or whatever on that part. But however, too, I don't think there's a procedure for that. Not like how P and Z has an appeal to come to council. So then that way, if we deny it, they still could take us to court or take it to district court to appeal it that way as well.
And Mayor Pro Tem, that begs the question, Ron, Adam, have we informed our citizens that they have a final appeal with village council?
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Corey, on this item, no, we have not.
Yeah. So the language is in the ordinance, but practically speaking, these people aren't aware that they can appeal to the governing body.
Correct. Yes, and since I've been here with the village, working with finance and the water billing on leak credits and Adam, I mean, they receive, how many, I'll have Adam just address how many we've had in a year, but, once they're denied and there's not any other question on it, so.
Yeah, we're looking, Mayor Pro Tem Council, each week I go through leak credits, the water billing brings them to me. And I would say since January, the first of the year till now, you're looking anywhere from 80 to 120 leak credits that we look over. And when I'm looking over them, it takes not only time, and that's what I'm trying to, go with the ordinance with you guys, because I know, if I deny a leak credit, and it's in the ordinance, people could read the ordinance. I understand we didn't tell them, and maybe that's something we should have told them, but, we're trying to take care of business without having to hinder, you guys in the council meetings also. And, like, I bet you I've had 60 to 120 leak credits that we've done. And a lot of them, they're approved. We approve quite a bit of leak credits, but at the same time, like we had talked before, I go by what's stated in the ordinance. So that's why we wanted to bring this to you to make sure, what you guys wanted.
Well, Mayor Pro Tem, Adam, I think what I'm talking about, I think what Councilor Letterman's talking about is that 1 week period.
Yeah, it has nothing to really do with the
And,
ordinance.
I don't think it's an extraordinary event. I don't think we need to rewrite the ordinance. I think we need to uphold item 4. Reach back out to all of the people that talk to you about any leaks that occurred during that 1 week period and let them know they can come before council and seek an appeal.
So what about the anti-donation clause? I mean, would that be something?
My interpretation is that it potentially could. I called a friend and mentor of mine who's been a local government lawyer as long as I've been alive. I called him yesterday, and I call him a lot on issues that we deal with here. And, I said, I told him what the situation was, and I said, that to me sounds like anti-donation. And he said, well, yeah, there's probably an argument for anti-donation, but in his opinion, it's not as strong an argument as I think it is. He sold me, or his reasoning was that, you know, everybody's had a bill dispute with either, you know, with P&M or Zia Natural Gas, and in this case with the village, that happens to be a government body. But everybody, we have bill disputes all the time. And he brought up a case, I think in Santa Fe or Rio Arriba County or somewhere, that like the whole system glitched and everybody's bill was off and everybody was complaining and they were making adjustments. He just, in his opinion, based on his experience, it's probably not just black and white anti-donation, because it's a situation where they think that they were wrongly billed. And so they're coming and negotiating some sort of settlement, which people do all the time with all kinds of providers. So that was his opinion. I understand his argument. I just, you know, and I defer to him on a lot of stuff. But I guess the answer is that it's not black and white. So that's the deal with the anti-donation clause.
Well, and again, Zach, it was an extraordinary situation. And, you know, for example, P&M didn't bill anyone in July.
Yet they bill twice.
Well, but, I mean, they made some accommodations because of the emergency. TDS didn't bill anyone who was out of service during all that time. And I think the ordinance that was duly adopted speaks to the council's ability to override. And we need to reach back out to these citizens and tell them they can come back before council.
And in your own personal anti-donation clause analysis, you should also consider who's going to challenge it. Because, I mean, it's not like the anti-donation clause enforces itself and blows the whistle, you know. And if somebody does that, okay, you guys are trying to do what you think is right for certain people, and somebody blew the whistle and took you to court, and there was a determination after 2 years that you violated the anti-donation clause, so.
So, could I ask then in section B, it says the customer proves to the satisfaction of the village manager that the reason for the high usage is an extraordinary condition relating to the water pipes. When that, you have the word extraordinary, and but with that, you're also talking about a leak to the water pipes. In that, I think that you don't even have to bring it to the council as far as that, because I think the language, correct me if I'm wrong, gives the village manager or whomever has the say at that point the ability to make the adjustments on their own.
If I can, talking to Adam and Ron, they deal with this quite frequently, and Chris, and it sounds to me like they have their own analysis that they go through. The way that they apply this may not be applicable to in certain cases that we're looking at now. So they're reading this the way that they believe that they've always read it, and they're trying to apply it consistently across the board.
Their criteria
Right.
is for ordinary circumstances, but this again was an extraordinary circumstance.
And that's what appeals to the council are about in a lot of cases. They don't want to use their discretion to.
Understood.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us are questioning what you guys decide.
Right.
We just want to try to find a way to accommodate.
So would a directive, kind of an agreement to these folks here, that during that 1 week period to look at the situations for each one of those individual cases, or does there have to be any other type of action?
Well, this is not an action item on your agenda, but I think everybody gets the gist.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, I just
Yes.
want to caution you a little bit. Any of the leak credits that we give are considered unbilled non-revenue water. So it negatively affects our conservation report. So anytime we're not billing for water and, we're providing it, then it dings us if we're doing that. So just caution you.
Understood,
If we're
Crystal,
gonna
but-
go through, I know it's an extraordinary time, but that's another reason why Adam works so diligently to make sure that we're not just giving leak credits whenever it's requested.
Agreed, but there's a limited magnitude to this one-week event.
Counselor Letterman, there's not gonna be a way to clearly define who left their sprinkler systems on and who had a flappy water, toilet thing, and there's not gonna be a way to tell which one had a water softener leak. So if you're gonna give a credit, you're gonna give a credit to everybody.
I beg to differ. The toilet flapper, they're either gonna get a receipt from Ace Hardware or a plumber bill.
If they did at the time, if they fixed it.
I mean, really, but the
But some of
flapper,
them,
all
if
you have to do is
You
do
jiggle
this.
it. and
Yeah, if you
goes
jiggle it,
down.
it stops. So, I mean, there's not gonna be, and I don't have a problem with what you all wanna do, but I'm just saying, you're not gonna be able to differentiate, we're gonna give this guy because he says it was a flapper, and we know this guy had those sprinklers on. Everybody's gonna get a credit.
But you can't tell if the water is doing this outside, no?
Councilor Letterman, no. Usually when a toilet flapper sticks, and I use mine, for example, I got up at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, or before I went to bed, flushed the toilet, didn't pay attention, went to bed, woke up at 6 o'clock that morning, the toilet was still running.
Yeah.
So you look at ion water, and, a toilet flapper can run up to 300 gallons an hour. And it's usually a constant run all the way across the board. Now, if somebody left a sprinkler on, it just depends on where they're at in town, what kind of, water pressure they have and volume. And you can somewhat define, if they turn the sprinkler on, a water softener, usually it's anywhere from 5 gallons to 15 gallons, an hour that it's running, because it's barely weeping out. It's just the backwash, and some of them are more. I think it's going to be on a case-by-case basis formed within the council, and we can maybe go through these, just so,
How many people are we talking about?
Mayor Pro
Up
Tem,
to so many gallons, I don't know.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Corey, the number I have is approximately 45 customers.
What's the average gallons over that they?
it just depends on, like mine, it was, 300 gallons an hour times, what was it? 7 hours, 8 hours? It all depends on, they were gone, if they were evacuated at, 5 o'clock or whatever it was on the 17th, and then for that week, you can kind of tell if, they came home and hit the flapper and it stopped, or, it all depends. 3,000 gallons is our minimum, your billed amount, and anything over your 3,000 gallons is on a tiered system, so.
Well, out of these 45, I think if you reach back out to them, if they're, so convinced that they have a case to make, they can make that before the council. And we can decide. We can decide, was it a toilet flapper or the sprinkler, or?
And Mayor Pro Tem Salas, members of the council, I think, what did you have, Adam? There was from upwards of 600 up to 3,000 on that list
Yes.
of
And,
dollars?
we did have a few residents come in and say, I was gone for that week, and I don't know where the water went. They don't, whether it was a toilet flapper and they didn't say it was a toilet flapper, or it was, they just didn't know where the water, we weren't home, but, somebody filled a water truck up, or a fire truck up in my house.
Yeah.
In my mind, for a garden hose to fill up a fire truck, that's a little, that'd take forever. But that's just some of the stuff that I've heard.
Well, the takeaway from this, I'm glad Councilor Letterman brought it up. I'm glad Mayor Pro Tem Salas asked for the ordinance. We all now know there is an appeal mechanism, and we need to advise the public accordingly.
Mayor Pro Tem and councilors, for your information, generally when somebody wants to appeal an administrative decision to the council, they have 15 days from the date of the decision to do so. Obviously, that time has passed, but would that sound like a
What
reasonable amount of
action,
time?
Zach, would we need to take in order to waive that?
By them, if they're going to contact them, that you say within 15 days, please get in touch with us and we'll put it on the calendar.
I would, Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Corey, be from the day of reaching out to, like Zach said, and that starts the clock then, so.
Yeah.
Okay?
So we've
Would we
had a
be
few of-
responsible for contacting those citizens? Is there a list that we?
We have, yes, Dusty has the list. Yep. We have,
Councilor Letterman has a question.
No, I did. It must have not been very important.
So, so the higher the consumption, the higher tiers, we could look at refunding the higher tiers or something like that. I don't know if I'm not exactly sure how you want to go about it, because if you have 45 people coming to the same meeting, are you going to want to deal with
Yeah,
all
that's
45?
exactly.
Are you going to want to deal with all 45 people in one meeting? And you know it's not going to be real quick, because we're going to have to do research. We'll have to get you the consumption levels between the dates. So I don't know if you want to look at these people beforehand, before you say you have 15 or 16 days, whatever, beyond this date to come back.
Yeah.
We probably want to look at all this stuff, because you're not going to be able to get,
Yeah, no, that's a good point, but I think, you know, Ron, you can exercise your discretion if there's a slam dunk that you think you can waive, do it, and, you know, if that list is 45, then when we get to it, we'll have to plan accordingly.
What about the people that have already come to us?
Well, that's the list, right?
yes. Correct.
the list.
45.
Yep.
But 45 people haven't come to us, the
They've come
council.
No, they've come
Okay.
to
They've
them.
submitted,
what I meant-
they submitted paperwork for
Got
the
it, got it,
credits and stuff.
got it, okay,
But if you open this up, you don't know if you're gonna get more.
yeah.
How many of those 45 have submitted plumber's receipts?
I believe. I don't want to speak out of, you know,
Bless you.
I
Approximately.
think the 45 that we're talking about are the ones that have not submitted plumber's bills. I mean, there may be a couple, like one gentleman, he came back in and submitted a plumber's bill, but there is quite a few that it's just a, you know, can I have a late credit? I was gone for these days, you know, I have a letter, you know, saying, you know, what had happened or whatever, or they don't know where the water went.
I apologize to you guys for doing your job. And unfortunately, the politics has come involved with it. But thank you.
I don't think there's any politics in this.
Well, what I mean by that is people have contacted us with concerns and issues over what took place. And so now we are taking that and throwing it back on them when they've done their job by following the statute, doing what it
Absolutely.
is. That's what I mean. I'm not,
And you have done your job, and it has nothing to do about you not doing your job. I think it's the right thing to do,
And that's why we wanted to bring it to you. I mean, that's
and I
why-
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So we
So-
got it?
Got it.
Manager?
So we don't have to take, there's no action.
No,
We
just-
Yeah,
just
there's
Yeah.
no
give it
action.
direction.
It's just the
Discussion
direction
only,
to
no
manager.
direction. Yeah, no direction either.
So I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but I'm not a good finance director if I don't say this. So we've had 343 accounts that we will not be billing.
Right.
So that is going to be amounting to anywhere between $40,000 to $50,000 of lost revenue over the utility companies. So, and I'm just saying that we're going to be losing money, so there's going to be a time, and probably quicker than not, that we're going to have to cut services for utilities. Because the amount of budget that we've had and the level of expenditures are based on 100% of all our customer base. Now that we're not going to be able to make budget, in the utility rate analysis, you've had certain capital outlay projects that you set in place for 5, 10, 15 years, the more revenue we lose, the likelihood of us to be able to do that is gonna diminish, which means you're gonna have a smaller base of customers, so we might have to look at another rate analysis increase at some point if we lose a lot of money, because that's about 500,000 a year.
Yeah, but Judy, respectfully, I think that.
No, I'm just saying.
That's separate and
Yes.
apart from the leak.
Yes, no, I totally understand that, but I'm just prepping you
Yeah, yeah.
that this is
Understood.
coming up again.
Understood.
So it's not nothing to, with the leak or anything, I'm just
So 300, what was that number? 300,
343 accounts.
343?
Those are houses that
Those are
gone.
houses that are gone and we
Accounts have
turned
been-
off the meter, they're not being charged for a year, 10 years, whatever there. How does that affect our bonding, paying our bonding?
So right now, I just went through a I'm going through a Moody's analysis, and the only bonds that are rated are in the wastewater treatment plant. And the good thing about that is that we have two pledges, a GeoBond pledge and the revenue from the treatment plant. And right now, if you recall, when we gave the credit, we had a lot of cash on hand.
Yes.
So that's what's saving our bacon, is that we still have that cash on hand, so we can continue to pay with the debt service payments and stuff. So our rating, at this point, currently, we're still in analysis, but it's not changing or going down lower. So, that's the good thing.
That's the good part of it.
I think we're all holding our breath on
Yes,
tax
we're-
revenues.
We
So
are.
it's gonna be to our benefit to try to get as many people rebuilt
Yeah, absolutely.
quickly and back to service, so.
And Mayor Pro Tem Salas and members of the council, and, you know, Judy gave a number, but we're looking at more like over 50,000 a month, so, on utilities that have been disconnected, and we hope for the rebuild, and we hope for expansion on our sewer to be able to get new customers, connect new customers to our sewer system, so we can help with revenue, so.
So we never asked, but what, a round figure of forgiveness are we talking about?
Say that one more time?
As far as these 45 accounts, about a round figure.
Of credits. Well, that's why Judy mentioned of just looking at the high usage
What-
tier.
That was, what we were losing as far as the accounts. Now, but as far as the, leak credit,
Let's say on average, it's gonna be 2,000 an account probably, because if they have some high usage,
so you're looking
people either
about
got
90,000.
billed 1,000, I would say anywhere between $700 to $2,000, it could be varying.
So but totally, we're looking at about 90,000.
Any other questions? Thank you guys very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Okay, moving on to regular item 3, discussion and possible action on agreement with EcoServants, Inc. for professional services for community partnership improvement projects and services in the amount of $12,400, including gross receipt tax. And I too, Councilor Letterman, were sad that they had to go back to work, and we wanted to recognize them for all their work that they're doing. Go ahead, Matt.
Mayor Pro Tem and Council, so this is our annual agreement we have with the Eco-Servants every year for a lot of projects that they do. They help the Parks and Rec Department and the village as a whole on a lot of different projects throughout the year, and this is our annual agreement and the amount we pay them to help with those projects.
And it's all sorts of projects. I remember asking at the
Yeah.
workshop, sealing the Kids Connection,
Yeah, they-
removing snow, right? Do they help with ice removal?
They've helped with snow and ice removal, the Kids Connection, the cleaning out flower beds in Midtown. They recently helped us in the park, put up some park fencing. They helped us put up split rail fencing in our parks a lot, cleaning trails. Just kind of a lot of manual labor work that they're more than happy to help us with, so.
Even picking up trash.
Even
trash,
picking
yeah.
up trash.
That's a big benefit. They did excellent work on restoring some of Cedar Creek trails, because we saw a portion of them out there that did that.
Do you need a motion?
Mayor Pro
Yes.
Tem, I move that we approve the agreement with EcoService Inc. for professional services for community partnership improvement projects and services in the amount of $12,400, including NMGRT.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Thank you, Mayor. Pro
Moving
Tem.
on,
Council-
thank you guys very much. Moving on to item number 4, discussion and possible action on agreement to Resolution 2024-31, a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of a complete grant loan application for financial assistance to the New Mexico Finance Authority Water Trust Board for the Alto Lake Dam Spillway flood routing analysis and spillway design for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $237,500. The Village of Ruidoso will provide a local match of $12,500 for a total project cost of $250,000.
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. This is just amending the resolution that was passed last council meeting. We had a decrease in match on this project, and so we just were updating the resolution to reflect that accordingly.
That's right. Any questions for staff?
No.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the amendment to Resolution 2024-31, a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of completed grant loan application for financial assistance to the New Mexico Finance Authority Water Trust Board for the Alto Lake Dam Spillway flood routing analysis and spillway design for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $237,500. The Village of Ruidoso will provide a local match of $12,500 for a total project cost of $250,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Item number 5, discussion and possible action on amendment to Resolution 2024-32, a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of a complete grant loan application for financial assistance to the New Mexico Finance Authority Water Trust Board for the Two Rivers raw water intake and transmission line for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $5,100,000. The Village of Ruidoso will provide a local match of $900,000 for a total project cost of $6 million.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Yes,
so moved.
we have a
Second.
move and a second.
Quick discussion.
Discussion, yes,
Just
sir.
want to remind anybody that's out there in the world listening that this is all coming from the Water Trust Board. And it was money driven down from the state. You guys applied for it. That's why our match is somewhat small compared to what these project costs are. And those projects are something that need to be done holistically for water infrastructure.
Correct.
Very well said. We had a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Item number 6, discussion and possible action on award of ITB 2025-001B water line erosion protection project at Eagle Creek Sports Complex to Crosstown Construction and Trucking LLC in the amount of $136,093.49, including New Mexico gross receipt tax.
This is a project that will be happening at Winter Park. There has been a really bad erosion problem from the runoff that's happening there. It's starting to erode away the hillside where our commingled raw water line is. So this project will allow us to compact in around that line, make sure it's secure, as well as put in an inlet storm drain to process that water more quickly without causing further erosion in the area.
Okay,
If I may.
yes,
So geographically, if I'm standing there looking, I'm on the baseball fields and I'm looking, are we talking up the mountain where the roller coaster is or back behind me down in the
Back
river?
behind you, so Riverwell, where that's at, it's gonna be right at that site.
Yep, gotcha. All right, thank you.
any other questions for staff? I'll entertain the motion.
I move that we accept an award of ITB 2025-001B Waterline Erosion Protection Project at Eagle Creek Sports Complex to Crosstown Construction and Trucking LLC in the amount of $136,093.49, including New Mexico GRT.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Item number 7, discussion and possible action on contract for goods and services for waterline erosion protection project at Eagle Creek Sports Complex with Crosstown Construction and Trucking LLC, awarded via invitation to bid ITB number 2025-001B in the amount of $136,093.49, including New Mexico gross receipt tax.
So move.
Second.
We got a so moved in a second. And again, this was separated because the first one was to award the bid. Now we're approving the contract. Roll call, please.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Item number 8.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Discussion and possible action on Ruidoso Police Department policies for body-worn cameras, outside employment, and retiree firearm buyback.
Good afternoon.
DC,
Yes, sir. How are you?
good, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
So these were the three, as we keep going through our policies, updating them. These were the three that I got done most recently, the biggest one being the body-worn cameras. And that's mostly just kind of taking it and making sure that we're in compliance with state statute as far as body-worn cameras is concerned, and kind of addressing some of our policy was last written in 2015, so this is just updating it and making sure that it kind of fits a little bit more with the systems that we have as far as body-worn cameras. The second policy is the outside employment, which one is covered inside of village policy to begin with, but this just mirrors that and puts it in our department policy as well, just stating that they're gonna have to seek approval for outside employment. And then finally, the retiree firearm buyback, and that is a kind of a reward, if you will, for those that have maintained at least a 10-year tenure with the department and have retired in good standing. It allows them to purchase their firearm, their duty-issued handgun. I will clarify that because we do issue other firearms, but it is just their handgun if and when they retire in good standing from the village.
DC, how do you value that?
So it's fair market value. It would just be assessed fair market value.
You just Google it, or?
Yeah, usually we can, if we go to an FFL, usually we'll look at fair market value and come to an agreed upon amount. The firearm would be sold to or purchased by the FFL, who would then sell it to the retiree for whatever their agreement is, because there could be transfer fees and anything else associated with that. And then that money in turn that we receive would then be put back to purchase another firearm. And it somewhat replaces the firearm as far as age goes, because some of these firearms we've had for a little while also. So it'll update some of those firearms as we do it.
If I may,
Yes.
what was the reasoning for 10 years?
At least it's at least half of a career. I mean, in our field, it's 20 years, well, it's 25 now, I take it. For mine, it was 20 years. That at least shows some dedication to the department that you've been here. It's not, we've had officers that have come in less than 10 years, as short as 6 months or less that have started with us and then retired. So we certainly don't want to reward anybody that doesn't show any kind of loyalty to the department. So, it was kind of, I mean, we could get somebody that comes in halfway through their career and stays for 10 years, which is a good, a good amount of time.
Well, I would say if they're here for 10 years, just give them the gun.
Some places do that.
Some places do that.
Yeah, you can
And
make
again,
that arrangement.
And this was written to put it in an agreed upon amount. So, I mean, fair market value could be, and, whatever we agree to that, in that amount. I mean, we could certainly make it, if the agreed upon amount is $1, however that is, but.
Yeah, 10 years, I mean, used firearms not gonna be that much.
Right,
And that's with the department, with our agency.
with our agency, not in total.
Right,
No,
not.
Yeah, with our agency.
With services of other, okay. Any other questions?
No.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Ruidoso Police Department policies for body worn cameras, outside employment, and retiree firearm buyback.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Corey,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Item number 9, discussion and possible action on contract for services between the County of Lincoln and the Village of Ruidoso to provide library services to all citizens within the boundaries of Lincoln County in the amount of $15,000. Thank you, Ms. Denise.
It's not,
There you go.
I was pushing on it too hard. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, councilors. This is the yearly annual contract that we do with Lincoln County. I go every May to request money from them, and they decide how much they're going to give us.
Yes.
So this is the contract for this year, and they upped the amount that they gave us again. Last year, we had gotten $2,500 more than we had been getting. This year, we got $2,500 more again.
Nice.
So for a total of $15,000 for library services.
I'll make a,
Yes.
I move that we accept the services between the County of Lincoln, Village of Ruidoso to provide library services to all citizens within the boundaries of Lincoln County in the amount of $15,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Corey,
Aye.
Counselor Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Item number 10, discussion and possible action on contract for public transportation with Zia Therapy Center to provide public transportation within the Village of Ruidoso in the amount of $72,794.50 for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Salas, council members, yes, this contract is for the Z Therapy Center, which they called Z-Trans, to do the transportation for, I think they do partially Ruidoso Downs, Ruidoso, and to Mescalero, which is a route that's kind of a relay route to take people to Alamogordo onto Las Cruces. So that's what this contract is for the next, not their fiscal year, starting now in October all the way through September of 2025.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, Anthony, Andrea brought up benchmarks. Do you know practically what she's talking about?
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Corey, the bench items that we talked about, Parks and Recreation had a bunch of benches that they removed from
Yeah, but
locations.
she was also talking about delivering like certain criteria. Matt, do you know what I'm talking about?
Anthony and Matt, Zia Trans is on Zoom, so they can address some of those questions also.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can open it up to them if
Okay.
you'd like to ask them.
Well, I guess my question was specific to the
Okay.
village.
I'm not
What
aware
are
of,
the issues she's talking about?
I'm not aware of any benchmarks that they're not, performing to at this time with the village. I know some of the things she was concerned about is like, some signage issues, and that is something that I would like to, we're gonna speak with Zia Trans about, of maybe getting some scheduling signage on where they're, so they do have bus stop signage, but they don't have the schedule on there, and so somebody might not be aware that they stop serving at, a certain time, and
I
so.
think that's what she was taught, like canceled bus routes.
Okay.
You know, and then also drivers don't stop if there are no people. And I get that, but what if somebody's rushing somewhere?
Running.
Yeah,
Hold the bus type of stuff,
it was just, I thought she had some pretty good points.
And some of that stuff we can discuss. I know like benches that, and she did actually bring up physical benches that we did have at some bus stops. Some of those have been removed by vehicles, not by us. And they just have not been replaced yet. We're working with insurance companies to replace some of those, and as well as some of the signage. So their bus stops are established by Zia Trans, not by us, but that's something that we do work with them on.
I thought the seasonal routes was kind of a good idea myself.
It's definitely it's definitely something we can communicate with them and
Yeah.
speak with them on, and,
Yeah.
do know they have some newer administration as well as being fully staffed now. They did have some staffing struggles over this last year, which caused a lot of bus route struggles. but
Canceled and.
Yeah.
Now that they're seeing their staffing levels going up, we're able to fulfill
Sure.
those routes better.
And what I recall, Counselor Corey, the benches, because they were on the state right of way, they wanted them all removed, and they were also the ones that prohibited the signs at first, but now I think they allowed some of them somewhere, because I know I see while in Midtown, but it's on the sidewalk. I've seen that bus stop. The one out over here that was at Farley's, they took that out completely because of the highway department doing that. And that's where some of the benches that they had along the route, no, that's on state right away, pull it out, so.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, councilors, I know that Joe Harden, he's the guy that runs the Z-Trans program. I know that we talked about getting the times on each sign that's there.
Right.
So the bus rider knows the time that it stops there, because there's different times of day. And I know that there was something with DOT that it wasn't allowed to be put on them signs because they're on a highway.
Right,
So it was kind of a question like, where do you put the times at? And that's where the benches came in, putting the times on benches at these stops.
well, for those that have the app, there is a bus app or a schedule on there and stuff. As a matter of fact, it even tracks the bus. That it's even, it's running late, it's, early, I better,
That's
and stuff, so.
And I didn't even know that, Counselor Salas, and that's great information. That might be something we work with our PR team and get that information out to the public for bus routes and times. Download the Zia Trans app and I'm sure at the community center, they do have some of that information as well, so they can reach out there for those individuals that don't use smartphones or things like that. So.
And I learned that from my sister, 'cause she had used that for many years, but now she moved to Alamogordo and had to change her bus route number. So,
Mayor Pro Tem, I move approval of the contract for public transportation with Zia Therapy Center to provide public transportation within the village of Ruidoso in the amount of $72,794.50 for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Second?
we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Corey?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye,
Great, it passed. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zia Trans, for being on.
right there.
Yeah.
Yes, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'll make a motion that we go into closed session, limited to the discussion of limited personnel matters citing statute 1015-1-8-2 NMSA 1978. Discussion subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, citing 1015-1H7 NMSA 1978. Discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and/or disposal of real property and/or water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, citing 1015-1H8 NMSA 1978.
Second.
We have a motion to go into closed session and second it. Can we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Corey?
All right, we will return shortly.
Hopefully.
How do we get the,
But after a 5-minute break.
how do we get the auditor in here, and are they coming in there too?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're part of closed session.
I assumed that. I knew they weren't here just for the fun.